Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. SH02Z here today. I'm back and I have an interesting video for you. Today I want to talk about a new product that I just purchased from Makita. This is a 3 3/8 inch cordless circular saw. This saw is model SH02 and this is the Z model, or just the tool only. Now you can get this saw in a kit which will contain 2 batteries and a charger, and the price point on that is around $129, but the way I bought it here was around 89 bucks. Again, this is 3 3/8 inch blade. It runs on the Makita CXT platform, which is a lithium-ion 12-volt platform, and I'm real excited about this saw. In the past, I've always used the Makita model 5094. This is a 14.4 volt option, same exact blade, and I'm going to talk about some of the differences between these two saws in this video. But before I get to that, let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. So it says right here on the box, it says lithium-ion advantage. You can charge any time with no memory effect on the batteries. This is less weight than nickel-cadmium batteries. I mean, if you're looking at a 2 amp hour nickel-cadmium battery, you can see how large that is in comparison to a 1.5 amp hour lithium-ion. I mean, the size difference is quite significant. See the difference in size there? Those batteries are much smaller and much lighter, and I think they have more power. Ergonomically designed handle with rubberized soft grip provides increased comfort. This particular model, the Z model, the battery and charger are not included, and it says best fit grip, more performance, compact at only 12 3/8 of an inch, and it weighs only 3.5 pounds with the battery for reduced operator fatigue. Now the 5094 model right here with the battery weighs in about 4.6 pounds, so they've dropped over a pound of weight, and I'm going to compare them here in a minute. Adjustable cutting depth. Now this has gotten better. So at 90 degrees they're doing a full 1 inch cut, which on this one at 90 degrees they were only getting 15/16. So they've increased 1/16 of an inch depth at 90 degrees, which is pretty cool. And then if you look at 45 degrees, they bumped it up to 5/8 of an inch, where this one would only cut 11/16 at 45 degrees rather. So, and this last spec that we're going to see, it says Makita built motor delivers 1500 RPMs for fast cutting. Well, this model here, and this was the 14.4 volt model, model 5094. They had a 9.6 volt model 5090, and all of these older saws ran at 1000 RPMs, which they worked great. I use them for trim, I use them for cutting drywall, things like that, and they've been great saws. But it's time to move on. It's time to let the old technology go to bed and get out some new technology. One of the things that's really cool about upgrading to this new version is it allows me not just to be stuck at 1.5 amp hour batteries, or in this case 2 amp hour, or in some cases you could go up to 2.6 if you got nickel metal hydride batteries for this old one. But using the lithiums with this tool, it allows me to go all the way up to 4 amp hours, which I'm pretty excited about that. So let's see what's inside here. The first thing I see is the owner's manual, and inside there you'll see this card. This is the warranty card information that you'll need to fill out and send to Makita. That'll register the saw for warranty for you. And here is a quick little poster of the CXT line, showing some of the tools that are available in this line of tools. Anything from jig saws, this is the circular saws, recip saws, impact drivers, drill drivers, all kinds of cool things, and they're even jumping into the brushless technology. They're even doing radios now that will accept this battery. And like I said, the smallest battery, which is the one I'm showing here, 1.5 amp hour, but you can go all the way up to a 4 amp hour battery. And the other thing that's really cool is you can also run aftermarket Makita batteries on this tool as well. So let's take a look here. So there's the saw itself, and that is quite a bit lighter. There's nothing else in the packaging. Making sure. So that's it. So that's literally it. We just get the saw and that's it. So it comes with a blade already. This is a nice 20-tooth blade, thin curved carbide tipped. Pretty cool. It's got a good feel to it. All the adjustable stops. You can adjust the blade real easy. This motor housing is kind of wide. Kind of cool. So yeah, this shoe tilts and does all kinds of cool things. Tighten that down, and let's make sure that we are at 0 degrees or 90 degrees. Now, I want to talk about something real quick that this new model has that the old one didn't have, and that is the air that's coming off the motor to cool the motor. This is a brushed motor. The air comes through this little shroud right here, and it blows out right here where my finger is, that little port right there, and it blows the sawdust out of the way of your line, which I think is really cool. So there's a look at the saw. I think it's pretty cool. I like the feel of it. The handle is a lot thinner in diameter than the old saw. This old handle, look at how wide this is right here. Very wide. The old saw, the sawdust would come up right here and it would fly out right here. There was no air to cool, or rather to push the sawdust out of the way. So this old saw, you had sawdust everywhere. So you had this little handle here, which is very small, that you had to depress with your thumb in order to access the trigger. Well, they beefed that up and made it much larger on this new saw. You can see that it's a lot easier to get your fingers on. Very easy to find. I really like the new handle, and the trigger is very soft. The blade shaft, or the shaft lock, has changed. The old one was just a push button right here. You would push it in. It worked good. I never had any problems with it or anything like that. It worked fine, but what would happen was there was a little stud that would pop out. Where is it? And it would lock in there against the blade, and it would allow you to change your blades. Now the screw was just a standard little Allen wrench that you would use, that housed very well on the saw, and they haven't changed that. They did change the location of where it is. It's right here, and I think they put it there because there's less vibration right there, but personally I kind of liked it where it was, because gravity alone, is going to keep it in that position. But that's a look at the two saws side by side. I mean, they're pretty close to. This one's wider. It is significantly lighter, I can tell you that for a fact. So if you look at the performance, and you look at the way the saws, this has a slide rail system that puts the batteries in, which is pretty cool. And even with the battery, the saw is very light, very lightweight. So let's listen to the motor. Yeah, this one's a lot heavier. Yeah, a pound lighter. Yeah, this battery on this makes it kind of tail end heavy almost. So let's fire them up and listen to them. Here's the old one. Here's the new one. It's got a smoother sound to it. So if you had to cut like some 1x material, these saws, it's perfect for doing stuff like that. Let's cut a little 1x here with the old one. has plenty of power. I noticed there was a lot of sawdust. Let's take a look at the new one. Boy, that's a lot better. The sawdust, just blowing the sawdust out of the way, that was a significant difference. I'm going to zoom in and give you a closer glimpse of that. Watch the tip of the wood and you'll see the sawdust. See all that sawdust? Let's try the new one. The wood was clear. Boy, that's new. I like that. That's very effective. It just gets that sawdust right out of the way. That's a look at the new saw. I'm really excited. I think it's a great saw. So if you got to do any kind of 1x material or trim or anything like that, these saws, even the old one, I mean, it still works good. I used to use it a lot for cutting drywall. You know, I'd cut, 1x if I was building anything. And you can cut a 2x4, but you got to make 2 passes. So let's take a look at that. Before I make that second pass, I'm going to cut with this other one just to feel what it feels like to go through full depth. This blade's a lot sharper, but it seems to have had more power, a little bit more power. So then you flip the thing over, and of course I should have marked it and everything else, but I didn't. So there you go. You're cutting through a 2x4 that way. I'm just kind of guessing as to where the line is. I'm not quite sure. Just kind of guessing. I notice, yeah, so you're able to cut through 2x material. I noticed the shoe on the new one is a lot smaller. Personally, I like a large shoe. That's just me. But and another thing I noticed is the blade guard on the old saw was made out of metal, and they've changed that. They made the blade guard out of plastic on the new one. I'm guessing that's to help with the weight, cut down on the weight. Smaller shoe, plastic guard, different battery technologies, things like that. So pretty neat. Good saw. You can see all that sawdust on the wood there. This one has a lot more power. Significant amount of power compared to the old one. A lot more power. Very impressive. So folks, that's about it. That is the Makita model SH02Z. I think it's going to be a great saw. This old one still works good. I've used it for years. You can see that the plastic's been replaced. I dropped it one time and the plastic broke. And so I had to order a whole new housing, and it was quite a job to change out all the parts over to this new housing. But I used to work on tools all the time at a Makita service center, so I was able to do the job pretty easily. I mean, there's motor, there's gears, and all kinds of stuff. It was kind of a significant job. I will say that from my experience, This new plastic that they're using on the newer tools seems to have a lot more give. So that's kind of cool. You know, if you drop it, it's probably not gonna break on you. It's more flexible kind of a plastic. Let's take a look at this wrench here. You can see in that hole there's a little white piece of rubber, and what that does is that kind of, it's like an O-ring kind of feeling, or like a rubber, and it really does kind of hold that key in there. So that's a look at the saw. I think it's going to be a good addition to my collection, and I think I'm going to use it quite often. I'm still going to use the old one. You can buy these aftermarket batteries for like $20–30. I think they can sell 2 of them for like $40. So if you still have, you know, some of your old tools, they're not dead. They're just, you know, there is some better technology out there. These still work fine, but, and how many teeth is this blade? This old blade here was, I don't know how many teeth it was. I think it's pretty much the same blade. Maybe 24 or something. It looks like it has a little more teeth. But these saws are fun to use. Yeah, all the sawdust. The new one cuts faster for 2 reasons. One, it's got a brand new blade, and 2, it's a faster RPM. Again, the old one was 1,000 RPM, and the new one is 1,500. So significant change in performance, I would say. So folks, I want to say thank you for joining me today on this video. I hope you got some good, useful information out of this. Please feel free to leave your comments down below. Like this video. Share this video, and if you like the type of content that you see on my channel, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you, and until next time, thanks again for watching. Have a beautiful day, folks. Bye bye now. I like the rubberized grip too, and the thinner handle. We'll talk to you later.